Let's look at the news. The FBI's investigation into Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh continues, and an interesting detail surfaced yesterday. Apparently, a police report was filed in 1985 because Kavanaugh and his friends got into a fight with a man, but not just any man, a man they thought was the lead singer of the British reggae band UB40. I don't know what the most pathetic part of this story is. It's all pathetic. It's... By the way, UB40 is also what the police said about his blood alcohol level after he took a breathalyzer. Whoa, UB40. Kavanaugh allegedly threw a beer in the guy's face. Now, I don't believe that for 1 minute. I do not. Now, I don't know Brett Kavanaugh, but I know him well enough to know that Kavanaugh would never waste an entire beer. This is where the country is right now. A Supreme Court nominee named Brett has a beef with UB40. In a few years, there'll be a senator named Brandon who got in a brawl with Green Day. And then finally, the president will just be whichever guy from Fall Out Boy isn't busy that day. In other news, the New York Times published a big investigative article today that dug into the Trump family's questionable finances. The article had all kinds of revelations. For example, Donald Trump has always claimed to be self-made, a self-made man, but apparently, by age 3, he was earning $200,000 a year from his father, and by age 8, he was a millionaire. Donald Trump was a millionaire as an 8-year-old. Now he's just a millionaire who acts like an 8-year-old. It's really come full circle. Even more amazing, he learned how to file for bankruptcy by age 9. Apparently, Trump was involved in his dad's real estate business from the beginning. As a preschooler, he was already foreclosing on Malibu Barbie's dream home. The article was really interesting. You should search it out if you can. It had details of the Trump family's questionable tax schemes. For example, Donald Trump and his siblings once avoided paying $500 million in taxes. Yeah, so it's not just his wives that he cheats on. Let that settle. President of the United States. He is, like, Trump just, he claims he was a self-made man, and I guess he is. He seems to have made up his very own tax laws. Even more Trump news. According to a report this morning, Donald Trump at one point put his son Eric in charge of getting a restraining order against Stormy Daniels to prevent her from discussing their sexual encounter. Surprise, Eric failed. You know what they say? The family that restrains together gets arranged together. It's beautiful. I know I'm not alone when I say I'll never forget the first time I filed a restraining order against the porn star my dad had an affair with. Very much a rite of passage for all of us. But talk about awkward. Does Hallmark even make that card? Happy Father's Day. Sorry I failed to silence your porn star mistress. And finally, I don't know if you guys saw this. In France yesterday, a racehorse escaped from a track and he was recovered over 1 mile away, but not before going to a bar. Take a look at this. Here's the racehorse now. He's approaching the final stretch. He's ahead by a length. There he goes, making a turn. And it looks like he's going to win by a nose. There he goes. Can you imagine? Problem was, the bar had trouble getting anyone to help. When they called the police just thought they were telling an old joke. They're like, hi, a racehorse walked into a bar. Yes, and? I don't know, why the long face or something? I don't know. It got even worse from there. He ended up in a fight after Brett Kavanaugh mistook him for the horse from Seabiscuit.